So you're all in for flipping your class, but you're not exactly sure what the best way to go about doing it is. That's what we're going to look at in this episode. Now, in the last episode, we looked at what a flipped classroom looks like, and in that example, I gave you the example of a traditional flipped classroom. And the model for that is where students go home, they learn the introductory material or lectures or whatever that they would normally get in class, and then when they come to class, they do what normally would have been homework in class when the teacher is more available, because they're not teaching as much, to tutor them in their various projects. So for the sake of this episode, I think we've basically covered that concept. The first example besides the traditional flip that I want to give you is the flipped writing lab. And this one has three parts. The first one is the students will go online, they will experience some material, then they'll come to class and there'll be some sort of writing exercise or study exercise, some sort of academic encounter, and then the last part is that they will go into a lab situation. So let me give you a couple of examples. Science, right? Say you're going to be doing a lab. Labs are notorious for taking forever to set up. So the students in the first step would go online and they would watch you setting up the lab and how to actually work with the gear. Okay? The second step is they would do their pre-lab. They would sit down and you would present them with their problem and they would work out their normal pre-lab sheet. The third step is they'd actually show up at the lab already having their pre-lab done in an ideal world and knowing exactly how to set up their lab so that they can actually get into getting the accurate data that you hope they can find. And that way you have cut out a lot of fumbling with things and like, how do I light the Bunsen burner or whatever, right? It's a lot more efficient and they already have a lot of back knowledge as to what it's going to take to get this lab done. Another example entirely. You're an English teacher. You want to teach a lesson on poetry. So in the video lesson online, step one, you would present to them a type of poem. You would give them the cadence. You would give them the form. Is it a chiastic poem? What is a chiastic poem? You give them all of that stuff. Okay? Then they would come to class and they would do their write-up of their poem while you were there to help them guide them through the structure and the form of that poem. Then the lab part of it may be that they go up in front of class and they recite it, or they write it down and they put it up on the wall for everybody to view. Or maybe they recite it as verbal words over a video that illustrates their poem. That would be the lab application to that very same poem. That is the flip writing lab. On to the next one.